Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. Welcome. It is Thursday, excuse me, December 11th, 2025. Today is the Game Awards. Today we have some Famitsu sales to go over from Japan. Heck, today we've got the Supergirl trailer that I just watched and have a video reaction uploading as we speak to YouTube. That was a pretty fun treat. I'm looking forward to the movie. Today will be not a short stream, but not a 2 hour, 3 hour one, that's for sure. I've got to get ready for the Game Awards. I'll be heading out in a few hours myself. Should be fun. But we've got some things to talk about. Before the rumors came out from here and there circulating that Zelda Remake announcement soon. Zelda coming soon. I was just speculating myself. Gosh, how cool would it be if we got an announcement this week at the Game Awards of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake? And now there is a lot of chatter. I was just saying, it would purely be an amazing shock, probably the coolest thing that could be shown off, right alongside a whole new Zelda game or a whole new Mario. Not necessarily do I think it's going to happen, but I can't omit it, right? I think that a From Software title like The Dusk Bloods stands a decent chance, maybe even a better chance. I wouldn't mind seeing a new Monolith Soft game, whether it's Xenoblade or unique, new IP, action RPG sort of title. But yeah, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, a remake of that, just showing up tonight, would be mind-bogglingly cool. One could hope. The only thing, and not to say it's a bad thing, but the only thing is you won't get my reaction necessarily because I'll be there at the Game Awards. And, if we've got like Ijao Numa up on stage to announce something big, or Doug Bowser and Devin Pritchard, or Shigeru Miyamoto, or some ensemble of Nintendo folks, and I'm recording that, I cannot record my own reactions, so if we have this magnificent reveal of Zelda, I don't get the reaction to, hold on to forever. It'll be in my brain. Maybe you'll see me on camera or something like that, but it's a little bit different than recording it live on YouTube and such. But yeah, we'll see, I guess that's the one trade-off to going to a thing. You don't get the reaction later on. But that's all right. I'm looking forward to the show. Quite a few people are going. Some friends I'll probably be catching up with. Maybe make some new friends or see some online friends and, meet their acquaintance in person for the first time. But before we get all that, let's see who's here, because I see some folks that are already in the chat. Welcome on in. We've got Joycey J. Hi, Paul. Hi, Joycey. Paladin 8669. Good morning. Matayev. I hope I said that right. Or Maddie AF, possibly. Hi there. Jordan Andrews. Hey, Paul. Supergirl looks great. Yeah. Hey, Jordan. Supergirl did look cool. That was a nice trailer. I was looking for... Well, I don't want to spoil it. I guess I'll... Does anybody care if I talk about the Supergirl trailer? I was looking for Lobo. Aside from one part that I thought, was that Lobo? Then I was like, no, I don't think so, because then it went to another shot. Unless if they went from Lobo to the other shot on purpose, but it looked like that shot transitioned into it, and I'm like, oh, then that wasn't him. But I don't know. But it was a cool trailer. Hi, Pokemon Fan 34. Super Gaming, yo, what's up? RNG 630. Hello, it's been a while. Good to see you here though. Tiger says, hey, hey, hey there. Tsukino Ame, hi everyone, hi there. Roger and your 2066, good afternoon to all you amazing people. Good afternoon, Roger. And big thank you for the super generous $2 that gets us on the board right away as we start our stream off. We're kicking it off with a nice $2. Big appreciation, Roger. Thank you very much for that. Get your name on here, and we'll go with red for the name, and green for the 2. Thank you very much, Roger, for the contribution. There are still 20 days left of the year. I have this maybe unrealistic goal, only because the community has been so awesome that I cannot help but shoot for it, you know? Because everything that we've tried to do, gosh, has happened. This was the year where, in the summer, late June, the channel hit that 5,000 mark. And that was really neat to see. And then in little to no time, 5,500, 6,000. Okay, wouldn't it be cool to have 6,400? 6,400 hit, 7,000 hit, and now we're approaching 75. So it's like, well, maybe that 8,000 by New Year's is possible. Normally, at the beginning of the year, I probably wouldn't have had that ambition, that thought of, yeah, 8K by the end of the year. Definitely. If anything, was like, maybe this will be the year to hit 5,000, you know? And 5 came and went. So that's why I'm like 8,000 by the end of the year. Might as well make it that little goal. There are 20 days. That's like 530 subscribers in 20 days. That is a little bit high, right? We do need like 25 people join in a day or something. It'll get close to 8,000 if it doesn't hit it. But I'm not sweating. At the end of the day, I'm having fun. You're all having fun. It's cool to see the channel growing at whatever pace it does. And member-wise, a nice number would be 500 to hit. We got close once at 461. That was the highest we got. It has dropped since. But you know, you got ups and downs always. But as long as we're all having a good time, that's what's the most important. Louis M727 says, hey there, Louis. Jordan, he was there just in shadow. Okay, so was that him in like the cloak kind of thing? Steak 1024, if I didn't say hey earlier, hey Steak, good to see you here. Charles Trudell, good afternoon, working hard here, very good. Tigress says, you know I always love sales numbers talk. Did we get any Metroid numbers yet? Yes, we did, and we are going to go over them. Including, all of the sales data that just came out of Japan. Maybe I should reword the title. What is the title today? Nintendo Switch 2 sales explode in Japan. That's accurate. And then is a Zelda Remake coming to the Game Awards? Yeah, I guess that's accurate enough. I mean, I could see if I could fit in there plus more Famitsu sales, but I don't think so. Famitsu, or YouTube only gives like 100 characters in the title anyway, so we'll see. But yeah, we got the whole Famitsu sales today. But I opened up with Nintendo Switch 2 sales exploded in Japan in particular, because that is what they did. Big sales. Hello, PGN. Are you excited? Tonight is the Game Awards. I hope for Mario Kart World DLC. Hey, Bradley Taylor. Yeah, I'm excited for the Game Awards. It's 10:51 right now. Excuse me. I probably have to leave by 2:30. The show starts at 4:30. Maybe to be safe, I'll leave leave at 2 o'clock. It's not that far from my house, but traffic and stuff like that, parking, walking time, mingling. That's all fun to do. Taking some pictures, make sure my phone's charged. Hopefully have a good signal. Maybe do a little bit of live streaming or a photo here or there, after party. Yeah. Will probably be a late night. The Game Awards themselves, they will probably wrap up like 7:30 p.m. But then right across from the Peacock Theater, I go to the after party, and then that's where more fun goes down. So that's like from 8 to 11 or something usually. But we'll get into that too. Some Mario Kart DLC would be neat though. That would be pretty big. Paladin. It would be awesome to get one more big Nintendo reveal to be excited for the next year. Oh, yeah. Nintendo will no doubt early into 2026 have something, right? We'll have Pokemon Day in February. It's a very good chance that a Nintendo Direct will be happening in the first quarter of the year. You've got Zelda's 40th anniversary that starts off in February of next year. So the likelihood of something from Nintendo would be high, I think, to get us excited for the rest of the year. But could we end this year with that excitement? Maybe. I don't know. Hope so. John Castle says, "What's up, Superman? What's up?" I love soups. Welcome back, Pokemon Fan 34. Nice Superman shirt. Are you Super Paul Gale, man? Yes, I am, Bradley. Thank you. J Biggs says, "Hey, everyone in the Galeverse. Hey, J Biggs. Loud Boys. Arkham Knights Enfield released on January 22nd at the reveal from the Game Awards. Cool, cool. You're going there? Yeah, I'm going. Thank you. I'll have fun. Hope so. I always have fun. 43 confirmed games. Awesome. You should do a live stream from the Game Awards and the after party." And then Corny Puddle says, "Hello. Hello, Corny Puddle. Maybe, Pokemon fan. You know, I have done a little bit of live streaming off of my camera, off of my iPhone, from my seat at the Game Awards before and like at Summer Game Fest before. You're never going to get quite the audio you get from like the professional microphones and stuff like that they have, beaming to the airwaves on YouTube and Twitch and all these channels, Amazon Prime, etc., as off of someone's camera sitting behind someone else's head in the audience. But I think at the very least, whether I live stream it or if I'm catching a vibe of something, oh boy, something really cool is about to be shown, at the very least, I could probably flip the camera around and do a front-facing reaction of, gosh, could you imagine like Zelda Remake or something crazy? Now, that means you only get me and you don't necessarily get what I'm looking at, but you could layer the two later on, and that's how you could get the reaction. Audio might be a little bit off, but you could still get the overall vibe, and yeah. We'll see. I'm going to take a nap now before I go live reacting to the Game Awards. Good luck on your experience tonight. All right, bye. All right, well, have a good nap. I hope you have a good rest and enjoy the show later. Meet up with Gamebird. Yeah. Oh, I'll hope to see him. There are a few people that reached out on X and stuff like that that would like to meet up, so that's kind of the extra goal tonight is, I know who will be there that I already know that I'll probably see and hang out with and catch up, have some fun. But the folks that I haven't met before, like Gamebird Classic, I know what he looks like. I mean, he knows what I look like. We've talked before, friendly in nature online and stuff like that through the podcast and different video collabs and just in general, like a cool person to talk to. But yeah, this would be the first time we get to meet, hang out. So that'd be kind of cool. It will most likely not happen, but an Ocarina of Time remake announcement tonight would be a fun surprise. Man alive, would it be? Gosh, that would be the coolest thing. I guess if you're too young today, you are too far removed from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time that 1998 is as history for you as the creation of Pong was for me when I was growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, you know? I knew of Pong. I played Pong, not when it first came out. I wasn't born yet. But now we're even further removed from things, and gaming has evolved even more rapidly, and there's more stuff that came out in between. So even something as big and of such magnitude of a release as Ocarina of Time as it was, if you're too young, it still might not matter at all to you. But it has been such a big, powerful game that left such an impact on so many that there are still a lot of people out there that the game does resonate with. My age folks and older, slightly younger, and then even a decent amount younger than me, because in part thanks to the 3DS remake, and in part thanks to the game being made available on GameCube in a collector's package, on Wii via Virtual Console, which was then accessible through Wii U as well, like I said earlier, on 3DS, of course, through the remake, and then now on Nintendo Switch Online. So it's just out there. And then you get something big like Breath of the Wild that comes out, and that brings a little bit of energy back into what else has Zelda done. And then you see Ocarina of Time, and then you have stuff like the Lego sets. So Ocarina of Time has still kind of maintained itself in some cultural relevance. You know, you have Hot Topic shirts. When you see a Zelda something at the mall, even though there's no new Ocarina of Time anything, you still see that garb of Link in that tunic as a little toy available or on that t-shirt. It's kind of like Final Fantasy VII. That was the FF game of all of them, out of all of them. Unlike 8 or 9 or even 10 or 6 or 5, 4, 12, that's the one where that iconic cast of characters has outlasted so many other freaking franchises based off of just one game. Yeah, then you got Advent Children, then you got Crisis Core, and then many years later you got Remake, but just what a cultural foundation, what a shocking moment was FF7 for the year 1997. That, look, it's lasted, 30 years. And that's sort of like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. You have some titles that have just stayed in the limelight forever. So much like how FF7 Remake was a big deal, oh yeah, you darn right, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time would be a big deal too. So we'll see. Aside from your own Nintendo Direct or a 40th anniversary special celebration of all things Zelda, including, here we're going to do remake announcement, Lego announcement, partnerships, and movie trailer or something like that. The Game Awards, so you can't pick a better spot. Is Nintendo going to have to spend $2 million on a 2-minute spot? Yeah. But would it be worth it if 90 million people see it? If it's the talk of the show? If you simultaneously then upload your own video of it to your YouTube page, Instagram, Facebook, X account, etc., and all of a sudden have, 30 million views in 1 week on YouTube and a lot of chatter, and then that adds to the hype cycle of Zelda for the 40th anniversary, that builds up this February Direct, that builds up the movie, that helps everything else, then it's worth it, So I cannot rule out the possibility of Zelda being shown tonight. I didn't realize how much stuff gets revealed at the Game Awards. It sounds more like E3. Yeah, Jordan Andrews, it is an awards show, but more of the time is spent highlighting upcoming releases, trailer drops. Yeah, yeah. It's a celebration of gaming. And it's fun to see developers get their flowers, to see hardworking individuals be able to mm, earn the respect from peers, big studios, small studios, have some celebrity engagement and stuff like that, and for us to mingle amongst fellow peers, have fun, make new connections, all that's good. But yeah, yeah, you can't doubt the excitement of seeing new stuff, you know? Kind of like E3. I still remember the magic of Christmas '98. I got an N64 and Ocarina of Time as my gift. Have been a die-hard Nintendo fan ever since. Yeah, that's a powerful time, Louis. My first start to finish playthrough of Ocarina of Time was on Switch Online. Ah, see? Paladin? Yeah, like that's. You might be a little bit of a younger gamer than me, for instance, or just never played the title all these years. But regardless, you are an example of what I was talking about. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. First experience playing it within the last several years on Nintendo Switch Online. And there's one more way of how this game has maintained its relevance. Now, is it as impactful for you as it was for me? I'm going to guess probably not, because you have been in all of this technology all of these years, I assume, going back in time now to play this game today. Probably hits different. But hopefully, regardless, you still had fun and enjoyed it and could kind of see the foundation of, wow, Z triggering? That didn't exist prior to this game. Huh. Lock on mechanic? That's new. Wow. Did everything use it later on with 3D cameras? Yeah, it's an impressive feat. Get these likes up, that's right. My prediction for Metro Prime is 1.8 million total by the first Nintendo fiscal financial report and 2.2 by the financial report for the end of their fiscal year. So you're saying 1.8 million by December 31st and another like 400K through March 31st. Perhaps it eventually gets to 2.5 to 3 million lifetime. I mean, if it hits 3, then it's like neck and neck with Metroid Dread, which Metroid Dread's somewhere at that like 3.2 level. Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping for that new Monolith Soft IP to be shown tonight. Yeah, Tsukino Ame, that would be pretty sweet. I want new Mario Kart DLC, that'd be good. Nintendo will never recover financially from Metroid Prime 4 development costs, and people are shocked that the amiibo for it add content. I think 2 million would break even, to be honest, for Prime 4. I mean, if you're looking at 2 million sales at $70 a pop, not counting Nintendo Switch versions, and you're looking at 140 million right there. It's not small change, but Nintendo doesn't just develop every game with the thought process of, oh, we got to make a couple 100 million off of this project. They want a wide variety, a breadth of titles available under their mantle. Of course, they would prefer to have more sales than not, but they do know going into this that Labo's not going to sell 60 million copies. But we still have the creative vision to make it, and we're going to make it, and we're going to do it, and it's going to happen. Somebody during quarantine come up with Jump Rope. We're just going to release this thing for free. We're going to have it available. It's going to suit the needs and diversify our market of what we have to offer on our system. Nintendo knows that the upcoming Rhythm Heaven isn't going to sell 35 million copies, but that's still not going to prevent them from making it. Mario Tennis Fever, they know it's not going to be a 40 million seller. Fire Emblem Fortune Weave, probably a decent budget's going in it. I don't think they're anticipating it to sell 26 million copies. Now, Metro Prime 4 Beyond is a little bit of a different situation because it had a year and a half ish of scrapped development time, reboot, And then that reboot took longer because partway through there was this realization of, we should simultaneously co-develop it for two systems at once. So that took a little bit longer and a little bit of a bigger budget. And then that's why you had this 7-year development cycle at Retro Studios to make it a dual launch for NS and NS2. But I think Metroid Prime is still a healthy series going forward, and that we won't be waiting 18 years for Metroid Prime 5. I think, 5 years is reasonable to expect. Nintendo Prime says, folks, you're watching a Game Awards attendee here. The man who may get to shake Doug Bowser's hand tonight for one last time before he retires. Respect his authority. That's right, Nintendo Prime. Yeah. Tonight might be the last time that I see Doug as president of Nintendo. I've known Doug since 2016. Right before / as he was becoming president at NOA. And then from there, we became friends at that E3 2016, I want to say, into 17, 18, 19. And then in the years since, run into each other at the Game Awards, Super Nintendo World, opening Red Night premiere, or Red Carpet premiere, opening night, media day, etc. Oh, Summer Game Fest? Oh no, was he not at Summer Game Fest? No. But yeah, Game Awards and different events and stuff like that. Yeah, Doug's awesome. Doug's great. Good person. And if he's there tonight, not that we can't see each other in the future, but yeah, he's only got 20 days left on the job. This would be the last time that he's president that I'm talking with him. Yeah, he's always been really cool. And for that matter, Devin Pritchard might be there, the future Nintendo president. That'd be pretty neat to be able to have an opportunity to speak with the both of them at the same time. That'd be fun. That would be fun. And Nintendo, of course, they're going to recover, by the way, from Prime 4 development costs. Maybe they won't recover from Prime 4's costs with Prime 4 sales, but they'll whip out, a new Mario game, Odyssey 2, Galaxy 3, whatever. It'll sell 22 million copies. You got a billion seller right there. Whoop, there goes your money that you lost on Metroid. No big deal. Who's to say they're even going to lose money on Metroid? Metroid Prime might go on to selling 4 million lifetime. It's still possible. We'll see. Oh, let's see. What else? Wario Land drop on GameCube last night, yeah. The only reason I think there might be a big Nintendo reveal is because Nintendo wants to reach a broad audience with something exciting, with all the negativity. I mean, Nintendo, they're not aware of negative speak online, but they're also smarter than people think. When folks said, boycott this game, it doesn't have all 750 Pokemon, how dare they not allow you to catch them all? I'm not buying Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield goes on to becoming the second best-selling Pokemon game of all time. Huh? Vocal minority. I'm not buying Scarlet and Violet. Look at this. You fall through the environment. Yeah. People trying so hard to break it, because when you have something so polarizingly popular, it also brings out such a powerful hate. It brings out a lot of love and a lot of dislike. So you see a lot of the dislike, which is still a very small minority, but they sure like to be vocal. Oh, no one's going to buy Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet beat Sword and Shield and became the new number 2 best-selling Pokemon game of all time. I'm not buying Nintendo Switch 2. Oh, this system's gonna fail. It's $450. Fastest selling system of all time. 15 million in just under 6 months. Vocal minority. It's not gonna work. It's gonna flop. Dude, when you look at the healthy ecosystem that Nintendo Switch had for 8.5 years, 8 years and 3 months before Nintendo Switch 2 came out, and then now it's been more than 8.5 years in total, a healthy ecosystem still vibrant, playing that old platform does not mean the successor is going to fail. It's not a situation where we, bam, sold like 86 million in 4 years and then barely sold the 15 million in the last two. No, this is a system that has been selling all the time and then finally selling, but like not having a steep drop off, having a long tail, a gradual decline. And that bodes well to people wanting a successor and staying within the community. People though, man. People that don't know what they're talking about sure like to talk loud. But it's attention. It's attention sinking. Like we talked the other day on the channel. Why do kids act out bad to get a parent's attention? Because it's attention. If you're not getting noticed for something good, how do I get noticed? For doing something bad. Because then at least it's getting noticed. So if you are online, and let's say your favorite thing is Marvel, but DC's getting all the attention, and no one's hearing you talk about Marvel. Instead of continuing to talk well about Marvel, you're noticing, whenever I talk badly about DC, I get more attention. So I'm going to switch gears from being a pro-Marvel person to an anti-DC person to convey my thoughts and to get the attention. And that's what people flock to. And that's why people start to shift gears. It's a different side of a coin, but it's an ugly side of a coin. And I don't like it. I will stick to what I like, and I will say what I like. And the things I don't like, why bother? Why bother talking about it in the first place? You know? Some folks, though. Some folks. My first third-party game was Dragon Quest IX. First-party game was Animal Crossing. Nice, Tsukino Ame. Who's going to the Pokemon theme park in Japan? I'm not, but it would be cool to go to. At least Pokemon Legends ZA DLC is good. Yep. I had no idea Wario Land was made by Treasure. Yep. Nintendo will make more third parties. Game Key, Nintendo wants to bring back and do a remake. Let's see. Gosh, comments are flying. Please do not make another Xenoblade. Make us something different. I don't doubt that another Xenoblade of some sort will come, but I wouldn't mind Monolith Soft just having a brand new, boom, beautiful IP going forward. Give me a new hero, new setting, new tale, new story, new lore, action RPG, something like that would be pretty sweet. For me, Breath of the Wild was my Ocarina of Time. I liked it, but had some trouble with the controls. I definitely want to replay it at some point. Would be interesting to know the total dev cost for Prime 4. Might be the most expensive Nintendo game ever. Due to how long it costs and the fact that it was being developed in Texas, a United States studio seems to be that you would be paying people a little bit of a higher wage, cost of living, stuff like that, over something potentially in Kyoto. Could be the most expensive game they've ever produced. Maybe not, but could be. It's got to be up there, I'd imagine. But it would be interesting to know the price. I agree. Nintendo is going to make billions of dollars from movies now. They won't even feel the losses of Prime 4. I mean, that's true. Like, the Mario Galaxy 2 movie is going to be like a $1.4 billion movie. Like, 1.4 billion generating. Like, no problem. I agree. Prime 5 would likely come out for Switch 2 at some point. It would have to literally flop and not break 1 million for that to happen. Doesn't appear to be the case. Yeah, Metro Prime's going to be all right. What's up, David Patterson? Steak. Paul, are you going to ask the tough questions of Doug Bowser? When is the Wand of Gamelon remake releasing? Yes, that's what that's what he wants to talk about in his last sub 3 weeks of being president. Is Hey Paul, how's it going? Yeah, let's talk about Wanda Gamelon remake. I'm sure. That would be pretty funny though. So what are Prime 4 sales? Oh, let me get that into. I'll get into that in just a minute. Let me try to catch up to chat real quick. Tim McDonald, and then I'll hop into it. It's actually on screen right now, but you might not be able to see it because it is on a smallish side. But I'll get into that in just a moment. I am upset that there's no Pokemon Coliseum or Paul Gale of Darkness this month. Hang in there, Pokemon fan. You got 20 days left. We just got Wario. I said we're probably going to get something because we just got the N64, and right before that, we got the NES, and I said, what's going to come next? Probably something more. Now, what that something was GameCube. I was right. It was Wario. That's not what I had pegged, but hopefully have fun with Wario. Maybe you'll play it. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Pokemon. It'll come sooner or later. Yeah, Nintendo would be foolish to overact to a small but loud vocal minority. They do take feedback, though, true. Look at Echoes of Wisdom, ability to favorite echoes, Mario Kart World, adding custom items, etc. The rage baiting on YouTube and Twitter regarding Nintendo literally makes almost nothing to Nintendo or consumers. Cough, cough. AVS. Cough. Also, when I wrote Nintendo will never recover financially for Metro Prime 4 costs, I was just memeing. Tiger King meme. I guess it's stale at this point. Okay, I know what you mean. Remember when Gen Alpha Kid was on Prime Live saying he's the source? Wow, the Wind Waker ship you have behind you is so cool. Thanks, Mitch Biggle. Mitch Biggle. That Wind Waker statue is pretty dope. It's from First Four Figures. They make wonderful stuff. A lot of the things that I have in my game room is from F4F. The statue also lights up. I don't have it lit up right now, but yeah, thank you. It also lights up. It's pretty dope. Guys, 55 watching and only 20 likes. Let's get those likes up. We do have 53 people watching now. That is quite a bit. That's a good little Thursday morning for us over here on PGN Live. If you're new watching and you're not familiar with the channel, you're watching video game talk and conversation and stuff like that. I'll be going to the Game Awards tonight. If you have any kind of questions for me, feel free to ask. Also, it's a free show that you're watching right now. That being said, I appreciate super chats, gifted memberships, and whenever we hit a Nintendo $64 total that the show makes, I give $10 right back to the community by running a wheel, and giving out a $10 eShop card. Today's gift isn't a gift shop card. Today's gift is about $22 in value 3-pack coin set of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. So, yeah, we do little things like that too. So you have like a 1 in 53 chance of winning that. Of course, if we get to that $64 goal, Let's see, what else we got here? They keep adding games to NSO that I already own on my GameCube. I'm just waiting for Pokemon XD. I love Monster Hunter Stories. Yeah, Monster Hunter Stories 3 looks good next year. Spall, I'm in the same boat. Wanted for Pokemon. Hi, good morning. Hi, Genie. A new third-person Metroid is what I would like. That would be good. I've had ideas for how you could incorporate Zero Suit Samus into a Metroid Prime game for a while. I think Metroid Prime 5 is going to be different enough. I think 4 was like, let's pay tribute to the past, have a little bit of future in there, give the people what they've wanted for so long, what they've waited for so long, but try to bring in some new fans. And then 5 will be more of a reboot point than 4 was. 5 will be more different than 4 was from 3. That's what I'm feeling. I think if we get another Nintendo movie, it will probably be Kirby or Donkey Kong. There's rumors of Donkey Kong being it. I think Donkey Kong is likely going to happen. Pokemon will probably be before Fire Emblem. I'm surprised they're even adding Pokemon to GameCube, considering they refused to put it on Game Boy. See, well, Pokemon non-red, blue, yellow, green, crystal, violet. Well, not violet, too new. But Emerald and Non-main entries like Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Puzzle League, Gale of Darkness, Coliseum, Stadium, etc. Those are a little bit different to be popping up on NSO. The main core colored RPGs and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different thing there. Will they ever come? Maybe. Mm. Paul, have you ever been to TGA? Yes, I have. I go to TGA and Summer Game Fest. I enjoyed your Metro Prime 4 countdown videos. Thank you for mixing it up. Really cool. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Those were a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm not counting down to anything now, except for the Mario movie and the Zelda movie, but that's like just a once a month update. But I'm glad that you enjoyed the videos. I appreciate it. Mm. About 3 to 4 hours into Metro Prime 4. So far, I like it. Did you like it? Yes, mixing it up. I'm glad that you like it. Keep enjoying it. It's a blast. The game is great. The game is excellent. In many ways, it is just awesome, badass fun. Top notch quality in shooting, aiming, precision, graphics, sound, engineering, beautiful music, art direction, empowerment, navigation, exploration, rewarding elements for trying new things, satisfying ahas, boss battles, combat, traversal, loading screens, fidelity, smoothness, crispness of movement. Excellent. Couple of small things that are little quirks or pieces of annoyancy that sometimes it's on you, sometimes it's on that game design decision I could have changed. But nothing in the game is bad. Nothing in the game is poor. So I can see someone saying, oh yeah, to me the game was like an 8 or an 8.5. It is really good or it's great. But a couple of things irked me a little bit too much. But for anyone to say the game is bad or mediocre in quality or poor, sucks, I think you're a very poor reviewer. Your mind is too far off of what I like that I just can't get behind your opinion, or you truly just didn't play it. I'm not saying everyone has to think the same as me and give it a 9.5 or higher or 9 and that your opinion's invalid. But if someone is, I read the people's words, and if their words overall are just a little bit less glowing than mine, but at the end of the day, they gave it a 7.5 or a 7, and they said it was good. I'm like, good, 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 you know? But for some of the people that just said it's bad, I'm like, no, dude, you didn't play it. Or just your opinion is too far different that no matter what you said, it's not going to resonate with me at all because I completely disagree. Have your opinion though, that's fine. But I loved it. I hope you continue having fun. Sounds like you already are. Tall Show. Well, hello, Super Gale. Well, hello, Tall Show. Do you think Retro Studios might make a new 2D Donkey Kong instead of Prime 5? I feel like Donkey Kong's a bit more mainstream now after Bonanza. Hard to say what Retro's gonna do next. They don't bust out new releases too frequently, you know? Donkey Kong's sitting good for a little while with Bonanza. He could benefit from a new 2D game before too long, but I kind of think we'll get a new 2D Metroid before a new 2D Donkey Kong, but a new 2D Metroid might come from Mercury Steam or something like that. I wouldn't mind seeing Way Forward say, hey, can we remake Super Metroid? I would like to see Way Forward given the, hey, let's do Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link remake, you know? Yeah, I think Retro will do something with Metroid and Donkey Kong again. Just don't know the order of When will be what? Genie is about halfway through Metro Prime 4 now. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, we've got 60 people watching now. We've got over 21 likes, I think. Let's hop into the sales data from Japan because that is one of the topics of today's video. Let's get to it. This is the sales data from Famitsu from Japan. I'm using the site install base forum right now. And this little chart right here was put together by Chris1964. So thank you in advance for doing that. These sales are from the top 10 only, physical sales only. The top 30 chart ends up showing up later in the day. And digital is something that's not on these charts, okay? So, what was the best-selling game of Japan for last week, from December 1st through December 7th? Mario Kart World, with a whopping 102,435 copies sold. That's a 107% increase from last week. Kirby Air Riders in second, with 46,737 copies. In third, Pokemon Legends ZA Nintendo Switch 2 edition that did 44,331 copies. In fourth place, the Nintendo Switch version of Pokemon Legends ZA that moved 40,441 units. Together, that's 84,000 copies. I mean, if you combine the Pokemon together, that's the second best-selling game of the week. But outstanding. In fifth, now, here are 3 SKUs, so pay attention. In fifth is the Nintendo Switch version of Octopath Traveler 0, which moved 21,698. In sixth, here's the big conversation piece of today, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Nintendo Switch 2 version only, moving 21,415 copies. In seventh, Momotaro Dentetsu 2, on Nintendo Switch 2, which did 19,806 units. In eighth, the PlayStation 5 version of Octopath Traveler 0, which did 19,533 copies. In ninth, Octopath Traveler 0 on Nintendo Switch 2, which did 18,083 copies. And in 10th, Momotaro Dentetsu 2 on Nintendo Switch, which did 17,851 units. So, Octopath Traveler 0 was another big release this week. Quite even between the 3 versions. 21,000 on Nintendo Switch, 19,000 on PS5, and 18,000 on Nintendo Switch 2. That's 58,000 overall. Quite a respectable opening. And once again, for all of these, that's not digital included. If you look at the split between Nintendo and Sony platforms in this case, if you want to do it that way, then you're looking at the 18 plus the 21, and you've got 40,000 on Nintendo Switch brand and 19,500 on the PlayStation 5 brand. But overall, how Square Enix looks at it is, how many copies did we sell? And that's a respectable debut. Now, how about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, though? Because that was the other big one. Well, Nintendo Switch 2 alone sold 21,415. But where's the Nintendo Switch version? Probably, if this wasn't such a big week in Japan for new releases like Octopath Traveler taking up 3 spots, Mario Kart, Kirby, 2 Pokemon games being prominently on there, Momotaro taking up 2 spots, probably you would have Metroid Prime 4 Beyond show up in this top 10. It's probably somewhere in the top 20. These charts do go to 30, but the rest of the 11 through 30 spot doesn't happen until later in the day. I'm estimating probably like 13,000 for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond on Nintendo Switch. And if it did do 13,000, that puts it at like 35,000. physical only, which would put it just under Metroid Prime in terms of total sales over the Metroid Prime series over the years. But then when you add digital, it's clearly ahead. And that's why I created this over on X. Metroid Prime, back in the day on GameCube, opened up to 39,829 copies in its first weekend. Metroid Prime 2, 17,680. Metroid Prime 3, 34,151. Metroid Prime 4, Nintendo Switch 2 only, physical only, 21,415. Here you see I estimated 13,000 for Nintendo Switch, which I think I'm correct on that, but I don't know. We'll find out later today. But either way, you add that 13, which I'm probably pretty close, to the 21, and you're looking at 34,000. And when you count digital, you're definitely going to top that 39. So you've got an around 50,000 kind of opening weekend sales-wise for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in Japan. Not a lot. But you can see that Metroid Prime just never opens up that big in Japan in the first place. It's going to be bigger and more telling how well did the game do in the United States. And in the US, we can see on the eShop it's doing very well. We can see on Amazon it's selling very well. So I'm not too worried about Western numbers. The fact that it did do this well in Japan is already a good enough start for me here. The fact that it's only 15% less than Dread physical only in Europe is already a good start. Would I like it to be more than Dread? Yes. But I'm also aware that digital is ever making a greater percent of sales. So I'm not too worried about the European sales being less than Dread. Less than Dread physical. Digital is no doubt making up enough. Is it making up enough to make it more? Not a guarantee. But making up more to minimize the gap? Factual too. So, we'll see. Before this weekend is up, I might have some US data, but it might be too early. We'll see. If I get anything, I'll let you know. If I don't, I might make a projection, but I will be clear if I'm saying, hey, I think it's got to be around this, or hey, I heard that it's at least above this. And I do word it differently on purpose. We will get into the hardware sales, though, because the hardware sales are very exciting as well. But let's see some more from the chat. To answer the question earlier, Pokemon Fan 34, yeah, that was software. 200,000 is insane. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some more big numbers in a moment. Joyce J will be happy for Octopath Traveler. Yeah, it did well. I was always a physical media owner, but so far this gen, I really don't mind buying digital. Yeah. Any leaks on Chrono Trigger Remake for Switch 2? Javier Vasquez asks. Not yet. That's a big one though. Chrono Trigger DS just had its anniversary within the last couple of weeks. Chrono Trigger is another one that it's kind of held its own as a game that has stood the test of time. First of all, it's a fantastic game, but secondly, just stood the test of time in the conversation of people out there without having a large library of titles in it. I mean, what you got? Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger DS port. You know, that's about it. It's not a legacy of Mario games, Mega Man, Resident Evil, Street Fighters, Sonics, right? So it left its impact. A Chrono Trigger remake would be a pretty big deal, and I wonder how they would handle it. Resident Evil 2 style kind of remake? 2D HD sort of, crack at it, pumped up a notch. That would be a pretty one, though. So does this mean that the Nintendo Switch edition did not even make the list of Prime 4. And Ani, it didn't make the top 10, but it's somewhere for sure in the top 30, but we won't find out until later today, probably. Tim McDonald, I'm interested in the US Metroid sales. Yeah, me too. I know it sold a lot better here. I know that much. Some gaming news channels say leakers found Square Enix is working on a Chrono Trigger remake for late 2026. Yeah, I've heard rumors, but nothing new, nothing official. If a remake does happen, I'm having a heart attack. Well, don't have a heart attack, because then you won't be able to get to play it. Problem is, Prime doesn't sell well in Japan versus the West. Yeah. Should we conclude that this is basically up to Western Nintendo players to buy enough copies of Prime 4? If Prime 5 is ever going to happen, Japan still doesn't care about Metroid. If Nintendo was only ever counting on Metroid doing well in Japan, they would have given up a long time ago. If they ever cared enough that Metroid has to be this 5 million seller, they would have given up back in 1987, because Metroid's never been a 5 million seller, you know what I mean? It never was for them. Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Zelda, Animal Crossing, heck, eventually Luigi's Mansion, Kirby. Yeah. But it's always been an important one for them. Nintendo has always believed in it. They value it. They continue making it. And they will continue doing so. We will not get another new 3D Metroid for years and years and years. I don't see it happening. I see a 2D Metroid happening within the next 2 years, and I see a 3D Metroid happening within the next 5. 2 years puts it at 2027, which then makes it 6 years removed from Dread. A Metroid Prime 5 or a new reboot of 3D Metroid being called something else or something like that in 2030 puts it 5 years from now, which is then 3 years after the 2D Metroid, and that is a nice flow of Metroid for one generation of Nintendo systems to have. And maybe you do other remakes or ports of like 2 or 3 in between, or Samus Returns or something like that, some surprises. But yeah, I think Metroid's going to be fine in the future. I really want to get Red Dead Redemption 2 or Red Dead Redemption on Switch 2, but I can't make myself pay $30 for such an older game. What if you found a used copy and then upgraded? Possible. What do you guys figure the physical digital split is at this point? 30-70? If so, we can estimate the total sales of Metroid Prime 4. The digital split, in some cases, it could be even greater than 70-30. It could be, 60-40, 40 being the digital. Sometimes it depends on genre. Sometimes it depends on territory, which market you're looking at, which country has that higher digital adoption rate. Or the medium, cartridge versus disc. Yeah, there's a couple different factors, but I'm saying that assuming that we've got 13,000 Nintendo Switch copies of the game, then $50K for opening Metroid Prime seems reasonable for Japan, and that's not a bad number at all. For Metroid Prime, as you can see, previous game peaking at 39,000, 50 wouldn't be bad. They'll need to expand the franchise of Metroid using Nintendo movies. I would not mind a Metroid movie at all. Hi, Tabby Cat Games. How you feeling, Polygon Network? Good, thank you very much, Tabby. My ear is all good. It's almost a little bit too good. It almost is a little too clear, where I'm probably got some wax or something like in the right side now that just needs to be fleshed out. But the ear infection's gone. No body redness, no fever, nothing like that. Um, yeah, I feel pretty good. Thank you for asking. Hope you're doing well too. Remember when the Wii was selling a million hardware units per month every month for something like 21 months in a row? Yeah, Wii was a monster. Can I post the link to Tabby's channel in chat? Of course you can, Pokemon Fan 34. Rivington Avenue. I don't own Metro Prime 4, but really put off by the emptiness of Soul Valley from the videos I've seen. It looks very much like a PS2 game. I liked Soul Valley. I was riding around in Soul Valley, no issues. To me, it barely took. I did a test from the bottommost right of the map to the topmost left of the map, 2 minutes on my bike, diagonal. Now, usually, I like to get a little bit distracted. Oh, what's that over there? Oh, what's that over there? Oh, let me fight the enemies. But, like, let me see if people are exaggerating with, oh my gosh, it's such a trudge to go through the desert. It takes forever to get to the other side. 2 minutes just going diagonal from the two farthest parts of the map to get to the other is how long it takes to traverse the whole map on bike. That's not a long time at all. Also, the desert looks nice. It does have good graphics. It's plain in its sparsity, save for several different shrines and some monuments and some things to explore, which maybe could benefit from there having been more of them in there. But like when you actually look at the graphics, you look at the sand, like, oh no, it's good quality. It's just plain. It's sand. It's not filled with geometry and a whole bunch of trees and caves and grottos and stuff like that and lots of rock formations. No, it is just more or less an empty hub to get from one place to another, filled with several things to explore and a few other things to get and do. And that's it. This is an abandoned world. But it's a beautiful game. I wouldn't let any fear of the desert prevent me from playing what's, you know, very much a masterpiece. Not the whole entire experience of the whole game is perfect. No. After all, I didn't give it a perfect score. But so much of the game is just so awesome that the whole thing is worth it, in my opinion. So for what it's worth, I would say play it. Metro Prime 5 will likely be amazing. They figured out a lot of what to do, what works, what doesn't work with Metro Prime 4. Retro will have plenty of experience with the new hardware, yeah. Soul Valley is not that big. There's a lot of things to do. Yeah, there are plenty of things to do. Morgenstern 7. Hey, Paul. Hey, Morgenstern. Welcome, welcome. I think Nintendo is putting characters in Prime Force so we'll have movies. Can't have Samus walking alone for 2 hours. I wouldn't mind, gosh, a live action, high quality 8 to 12 episode Metroid series or, yeah, just a Metroid movie. Either would be cool by me. I think you're right. 50,000 sounds like a fair estimate and a good launch. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Prime 4 will be more of the same awesomeness. I hope so. More of the same awesomeness, but some new, right? Give me an opportunity to play as Zero Suit Samus in a third person perspective, infiltrating mission where she's got to be more quiet, got to reclaim her suit back, find her missing suit, or a flashback scene to training or something like that, using her gun, zapper to stun, punching, kicking, flips, Ninja Gaiden esque kind of movements. Be pretty sweet. Paul, I think you have to do it because I am not a mod on your channel, so the link doesn't work. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Yeah, if I have the link, I could put the link. Mm-mm-mm. Only 2 minutes sounds like some people like to exaggerate. Yes, I'm looking forward to connecting my Switch 2 by PC monitor. Awesome. I agree. I haven't finished Metro Prime 4 yet, but between 8.5 and 9 out of 10, I finished the Fire Biome boss midnight. Oh, that's badass. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, have fun with it, David. Like, and part of the fun is I don't want to spoil anything, but, you know, when you finally get your powers and stuff unlocked, you do reach reversal of older areas, and then it's like, oh, there's more fun to be had. I will stand for people saying that MP4 looks like a PS2 game. I look at a GameCube game, which by default looks better than a PS2 game. Is Metro Prime 4 an RPG or a first person shooter or both? Charlie Smith, it's a first person adventure. So it's not quite like this, but imagine if The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was in first person. It doesn't make it a first person shooter. It's still an adventure game, but in the first person. So Metroid Prime is in some ways closer to an adventure game. In many ways, it's closer to an adventure game than a first person shooter per se. It just happens to be mostly taught experience from the first person perspective. And to be fair, you do shoot more than you throw a bomb or do a lasso or something like that, but you know, you're also morph balling, you're also doing some puzzle solving, riding a bike, doing lasso, different elements connecting to a wall, pulling things down, grappling up, jumping, platforming. It's an adventure game. It's awesome, is what it is, though. It is really good. And the graphics are tremendous. Some of the graphics that you see in this game are up there to the highest of video standards in the industry today. Keeping in mind that it was built for the Nintendo Switch in mind first. Even more impressive. MP4 looks like 50 GameCubes duct taped to 50 Wii's, 25 Wii U's, and another 25 Switch ones. Metro Prime 4 is more of an adventure. Hi, Paul. I hope you're okay. Did you get a Metroid survey from Nintendo? I did a couple of days ago in the UK. I had to check my email. Thank you, Darren and I, for mentioning that. Pokemon Fan 34, if you could message me on X, I could share the link. Okay. Let's go to the hardware sales. Because this was part of the Nintendo Switch 2 sales explode for the week in Japan. Because that is what they did. And really, it's the hardware sales that I'm talking about in terms of explosion. I mean, yeah, if we go back real quick, look at Mario Kart World, 102,000. Awesome. Kirby Air Riders, another 46,000. Awesome. Combined sales of Pokemon being over 80K. Awesome. Octopath Traveler debuting at 60,000 across the board overall. Awesome. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond likely at 50,000. Great. But hardware sales are just legit awesome. Nintendo Switch 2 with a whopping 203,398 units sold last week in Japan. That's wild. Now, here's what I like to see. When is this? When is this from? December 1st through December 7th. December 1st through December 7th. When did I say that Nintendo Switch 2 hit that 15 million mark? It was right in that time frame. And that's because Nintendo Switch 2 had a very good end of November, a very strong early start to December. And now you can see that Japan alone made up for a whopping 500,000. And how much does Japan make up approximately of the sales? 22.5% or something like that. So a fifth of a million. How much do you think Nintendo Switch 2 sold worldwide for that week? Around a million or something? Numbers add up. When people doubt, well, how do you know the Nintendo Switch 2 sold more than Wii U? I just know, okay? Well, how do you know that Nintendo Switch 2 hit 15 million? I just know, okay? um, unlike rumors that sometimes sound too cool to not share, so you share, and then it ends up being wrong, and you get victimized for being wrong. But you get a little bit of applause for being right when you share something that's cool. The numbers, when I get the numbers are not wrong ever. And my own projections are oftentimes very correct, close to it. But even if my numbers that I'm guessing are not 100% spot on, because who can be? The numbers that I share that are the numbers that I'm claiming them to be are correct. They've been like that for 20 plus years, okay? So if I'm going to share a number and if I'm saying this is what I think, know that I'm probably pretty close. But if I'm saying this is what it is what it is. Like right now, I'm saying I think Nintendo Switch 2 will be in that 16 to 17.5 million position by December 31st. That I don't know yet. That is just a thought. If I have to be safe, I'll say 16.7 million, but we'll see. But yeah, check this out. What a beautiful thing. Whew. Look at what a beautiful thing. We haven't even entered Christmas week yet, and Nintendo Switch 2 sold 203,000 units in Japan last week. In second place, 51,000 to Nintendo Switch. 51,316 units sold. Wow. In third place, about half of that, PlayStation 5 with 25,240. In fourth, Xbox Series, which moved 231. And then in fifth place, you got the PlayStation 4 that did 20. And there you go. There's your top 5. You have a mind-blowing 3,171,000 Nintendo Switch 2s in Japan for the first 6 months of the year. And if you say what's 3.1 million a fifth of? Well, that's a fifth of about what? 15 plus million. Well, I'll be damned. You look at Nintendo Switch, and people still fail to see that Nintendo Switch is going to hit 160 million. It's only not hitting 160 million if Nintendo stops manufacturing, if they cut the lines, if they're like, you know what, we could benefit from having more manufacturing lines open to produce more Nintendo Switch 2s. It's not even that easy necessarily, because Nintendo Switch 2 is a more complicated piece of hardware to develop with more chips, more RAM, and all that junk, versus Nintendo Switch, which is a little bit easier to find. Then again, not all older things are easier to make because there might be less resources that have a need to make the old because the world is going towards new. But as long as at the end of the day, Nintendo Switch is continuing to be made out there, you're going to see Nintendo Switch hit 160 million by summer of 2027 at the latest. And that's because all it has to do is continue selling a few 100,000 per quarter every quarter. And then once in a while you have a million selling quarter in the holidays and stuff like that. And then several 100,000 at a time ends up being that several million. Right now, there are less than 5 million between Nintendo Switch and 160. Wild, wild. Awesome sales. I meant to say I will not stand for people saying Metroid Prime 4 looks like a PS2 game. I thought that's what you meant, Jay Biggs, Mr. NY for life. And you're right, it doesn't look like a PS2 game. Not at all. I sent the link on the Discord. I can only check out X at the moment. I'm pumped for the show tonight. Let's go! That's right, Brian Brooks. Charles Dell, okay, but let's not get into more details. It's still a leak. Charles Trudell. I don't know what you're talking about. It must have been something earlier. Do you by any chance? What is that? June 5th. Do you by any chance? June 5th next year, it'll be at 30 million or more. Charlie Smith says. June 5th next year, 30 million or more. June 5th. June 5th. That's too much, in my opinion. I hope you're right. My estimation was 22.5 million by June 30th. I like your 30 million. Woo, don't get me wrong. I like your 30 million by June 5th, but I think that's too great of an estimate. Just because I'm on team 22.5 by June 30th. But I made that claim like 13 months ago. Sorry. But yeah, about 13 months ago. Over a year ago, I made that number. Jeez, that was a while. Because it was before we even saw what Nintendo Switch 2 officially was. Back when the rumor was very highly like, alright, this is going to be a far more powerful Nintendo Switch 2. I'm hearing hype from people at the Game Awards. It was at the Game Awards last year that I already heard rumblings of anticipation of developers in advance of this system. I already heard months in advance of then, which was already a year ago, of the hype from retailers and the expectation of the success of Nintendo's next platform. I already heard talks from developers from months in advance of folks that said, we will be there at launch. We will be there in the first 6 months in the window. We will be there to support it earlier on than we were for Nintendo Switch because of what Wii U left in our mouths. And that's why at E3 2017 we weren't prepared for software yet. And it took a while to get going. And that NS2 was not going to have that, you know? I wonder if they will pull a 2DS with the Switch Lite for future holidays. I could still see eventually. I wouldn't be too surprised if eventually there's like a Nintendo Switch Micro, a Nintendo Switch Mini, something like that, you know? If Tabby is here, Pokemon Fan 34, if she is here and if she would like to, she could message me on X with a link to her channel. I'm happy to plug a channel. What I am going to do soon, though, by the way, is I think I discussed this recently. What I'm going to do soon is the moderator position is going to go to PGN Brown Belts. That's going to be a perk. So that'll be something nice. I do have here, by the way, who does stream. This is Shiny Metroid Trainer on YouTube that does stream. And then let's see. We're gonna put up Roger Enyart's channel here, who also streams, just to give some support to some folks that are cool and that are a part of this community to help boost up everybody a little bit, you know? Cool. So three links just went up in chat. We've got 66 people watching now. I think we have 40 likes. Thank you all for being here. Oh no, sorry. We've got 68 people watching now. 54 likes. Ooh, that's a good ratio. Can't get everyone a like, but that's okay. As long as most of you are having a good time, then that's all right by me. Let's see. Let me catch up a little bit in the chat. Paul, what do you think of Bethesda's Christmas ad with reaching level 20 and speech increase to 27 in Elder Scrolls Skyrim style? Elder Scrolls 6 2077? 2027? Maybe Stake 1024. Elder Scrolls 6 in 2027. Gosh, that game's been in development for some time. I like the hint. I like the possibility. Maybe. Charles saying just shy of 25 though regarding sales. I want to switch to light OLED. I have the next best thing. A custom Switch Lite OLED with touchscreen support and shipped to output docked image on screen while overclocking and undervolting. Dang, that sounds like that's a mouthful, but that's pretty cool. Action Jackson H. That's kind of neat. Roger, hello there again. Thank you for that super chat earlier, and thank you for still being here. Today, Wario Land comes to NSO. Pokemon Fan 34 up in the membership. Excellent. KH. Hello together. Hello, KH. Roger, are you looking forward to the Game Awards? I got a model debut for today. I love fashion games. Thank you so much for supporting us. You're welcome. Can we get to 100 again? Yeah. That was pretty cool, huh? Last time we had a lot of views, a lot of likes. I mean, right now we're sitting at 82 minutes and we still have 82 minutes in. Nintendo 64 people watching, Nintendo 64 likes. Hey, that's actually perfect right there. Everybody, stop what you're doing. Nobody else watch. Nobody leave. Nobody hit that like button. We're at 64 likes. It's perfect. Just kidding. You can keep hitting that like button. You can keep joining in, but like 64 likes and 64 people watching? I like that. Pokemon Fan 34 upgraded membership to PGN Brown Belt. That also makes Pokemon Fan 34 top donor of the day. And hang on a second. That does count as a super chat. Does that count as a super chat? It doesn't count as a super chat, but it does count as a. I guess that's a whole other thing, isn't it? That's a whole other thing. Top December or member ad? Member ad? Maybe? Yeah. I guess that's something new. Something new there. We're getting this all straightened away. Pokemon Fan 34. Thank you very much for joining the Brown Belt tier. That Brown Belt tier is a special one too. I mean, they're all special, but the Brown Belt one is a little bit more unique because if you have any request, you get a month video request that, yeah, the intention behind the Brown Belt tier is that beyond video game stuff, if you are interested in any kind of physical fitness, exercise activities, wanting to improve your health, you get to ask me for a custom made video once a month, and I'll make you something that's exercise driven that fits your needs, you know? Hey, I need something to help out my legs or my abs or my chest or some cardio routine. Or maybe it's not an exercise video, but like uh, Peach. That's a possibility too. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, you get that request every month. So first of all, thank you for adding to that PGN brown belt tier. And secondly, you'll see that there's a specific category of videos that is just for brown belt folks, and sometimes a poll or sometimes a post letting you know, like, hey, the time to ask a new question is coming up soon, stuff like that. The Obsidian Lord. Hi, how are you? I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing? KH. With 15 million Switch 2 sold at the end of November at those massive Japan sales, the possibility of 17 is way more reasonable. You know, yeah, I don't omit 17. I just said something very simple before saying 16 is possible before the end of the year, just to set people's expectations. But my own thought process is 16 to 17.5. That's my range. But I realize that that range might be a little bit too big for some, and that's why I said, well, hey, if you want to narrow it down, just split it in half and call it 16.7, and that's probably all right. But if I hear any more data, it's not like I get this news every day, but if I hear anything more that's like concrete for sure, not me guessing, not me projecting, I'll say an announcement. I'll make one. I will report that, hey, I heard that as of blank date, Nintendo Switch 2 is actually above blank now. But if not, then all I have for now is a range. Took you a while to figure it out, but you got it. So thank you, Pokemon fan. Roger, as far as the Game Awards go, I'm keeping my expectations at a low setting so I could be a little bit surprised. I hope there are some good announcements. That's fair, Roger. You know, don't go in thinking, oh, I'm definitely expecting there's definitely going to be Zelda, there's definitely going to be this, because probably not most of those things. But if we get one, that's pretty sweet. Oh, for me, it's Peach videos. Yes, so that's good. Once a month Peach video. And once a month, well, not once a month, but just once a stream, you got to have Roger here with, well, that's 22 now total. Roger, with a 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much for that awesome generosity. Big thank you. I appreciate it. Roger with a 10 gifted memberships. How do we get that out of the way? Because covering Pokemon fans' name. Okay, good. Thank you so much, Roger, for your generosity. Thank you, Pokemon Fan 34, once again, for your generosity. Roger, with 10 gifted members on this fine day. A lot of people are watching now, so the cool thing is, some of these people that might be new, lurking, or just not commenting a whole lot, or commenting, might not be members yet. Let's make this chat look green. We are now at 69 likes, 67 viewers, so we're peaking in likes over viewers. That's always fun to see. Who were the recipients? Oh, we got Rescue Squad Culp, Zenny, Zik. That's a lot of zins. Verumeveribi, Chalil Bafil, Nintendo Ninja Prime Beyond, JD Scream, Horizon, Cole Kublik, Big D135 OG, Jude Kerman. That's it. Those 10. Welcome on in to the PGN Live verse. Louis M727 dropping those emojis. Tsukino Ame. Woo! Ing Roger. Roger, you are the man, sir. Yes, he is David Patterson. Helping support this community. Big appreciation. Does it go towards the stream goal? It's 13 or 14. 13. Roger's trying to top me. Nice. Yeah, he just did, I think. I guess he just did. So actually, let me see here. I think who is in here right now? Oh, let's see. I think if I'm not mistaken, Ninty Prime, Roger Enyart, Tabby Cat Games, Pokemon Fan 34. I'm gonna have to look. Ninty Prime, if you are in the chat and you could write a comment, that would be good. Then I could click your name. Okay. It's quiet. Too quiet. Yeah, 10,000 Noodles. I was looking into how to do the Louis M727 boom with the 10 PGN memberships out of nowhere. Woo! I love that color green. You know, green has got to be like the best color on this channel. I'm telling you. Huge thank you, Louis M727, for the awesome big time generosity there. 10 gifted memberships, also bringing us halfway to our Nintendo $64 goal. And we're gonna split it up like this, make you red, so we have a little bit of alternating stuff going on here. Ah, see, that looks festive. That looks nice. Thank you so much, Louis, for the super generous $10. I appreciate it. That's really helping our membership goal go up. You know, we could end up hitting that 500 before the end of the year. When we hit 461, I was like, dude, this actually might happen. We're really close to 500. But then that 461 went down, but then now it's going back up again. Still not close to 461, but that's okay. Oh, we might hit 500 before the end of the year. But if not, whatever it is, it is. I appreciate the support. Big thank you to Louis. This kind of drop right here of 10, maybe Some of the 10 are here right now. Maybe some are in the email section. Maybe they never popped up to a live stream, but they get a notification and they're like, oh, I remember subscribing to that guy. Oh, he's live? Let me check on in. And that's kind of what is part of the fun and part of the draw, you know? So I'm grateful for that. Thank you, Louie. Let's find out who did receive it. And by the way, I see Pokemon Fan 34. Your name is Blue, looking good. Tabby Cat Games, your name is Blue, looking good. Roger Enyart, you should be able to type right now, and your name should be Blue. Ninty Prime, if you could type, if you are still here, then your name should be Blue as well. Albino Emo, One Greg, I Love Lamp, BWN Cosmic Milk, Donald Calendar, JFT the Artist, Garage Bread, Blue Star in the Sky, and Zombie King 3571. All new members of the channel. Big thank you. Tall Show moderation time. Oh my. Yeah. So I haven't had any mods on the channel, and I was trying to decide how am I going to do this? And I thought, you know what? An easy way is going to be I'm going to link the moderatorship membership to being a part of the brown belt tier. And that's just going to be a simple way of doing it. I know everybody's got a different way of hosting mods and handing out that ability. This channel is relatively small and easy to stay on top of the stream. Nobody really causes any problems, but sometimes some help might be needed, particularly more so in the vertical streams I've noticed than the horizontal streams. But I was like, if you're a PGN brown belt, from now on, that's going to gain access to that moderatorship. There are some more PGN brown belts in here, however. So I have to look. I'm trying to find in my notes who else do I have, because there are some more. I just am having a little bit of a fog off the top of my head right now. Huh. Who else is in the brown belt here? It will come. I'm sure it will come. Well, dang it. If you're here right now and you're a brown belt, let me know. Let me know. Drop that green badge announcement that you get to do every month or something like that. So then, you know, you could be like, hey, yeah, I'm a brown belt, remember? Oh, yeah. Because we have more than 4. We have had more than 3. So I want to say we've got like 4 or 5. Because Ninty Prime, Roger Enyart, Tabby Cat Games, Pokemon Fan 34, that's 4, but there is 1 or 2 more. There are 1 or 2 more brown belts. Non-gifted brown belts, by the way, because there was a little bit of a while where I gifted out some PGN brown belts. I think I gifted like 10. That was a pretty good one. That was a pretty, yeah. The 10 PGN brown belts was a pretty generous, like, 5 and 5, I think I did it in that. Well, I say generous. I mean, it's fine. It's I'm happy to do it. It's just because a PGN brown belt does come with more than, you know, the white belt here. But regardless, yeah, if you were gifted a brown belt, that's not a moderator position. If you are a self-appointed PGN brown belt, then yeah. Coming with that from now on is Yeah, that moderatorship title. 13 for the upgrade. See, it should be 10. I wonder if it's an Apple thing or an iPhone thing. I'm not sure. I'm a blue boy. uh, I don't know about that Ninty Prime guy. And Ninty Prime, he's a good guy. Hey, y'all, working and lurking. I'm glad you're still here, Joycey. Hmm. Can you be a black belt? You can. Yeah, Charlie Smith. So, for that matter, I mean, if you're a black belt, that gets you the moderatorship position as well. Yeah. I'm the only black belt. um, isn't Joycey a brown belt? I don't think so. I think Joycey J is a white belt. Yeah, Joycey J just said she was gifted her membership. Now, she could have been gifted a brown belt one from me. That's a possibility. But I don't think so. I don't know. I have a belt hanging in my closet that's brown. Does that count? I mean, yeah, tallest show. That counts. That counts. Brown belts, where are you at? That's right, Louis M. That's what I want to know. There's one more. And I kind of feel bad because somebody not too long ago just upped their membership to PGN Brown Belt, but I kind of forgot who, what, when. To be fair, you might not want the attention or the responsibility. So I will say that. Pokemon Fan 34, Tabby Cat Games, Roger Enyart, Ninty Prime, who are all here right now. If any of the four of you currently would not like the responsibility or the attention, I could take that blue away. Like, let's see. Tabby Cat Games. I'm not going to do it, but let me see. Okay. I could remove Tabby as a moderator. I could remove Pokemon Fan as a moderator. So, Roger, I'm pretty sure if I click you, I could remove. So, yeah. Just because you're a PGN Brown Belt, so becoming a PGN Brown Belt, that does, yes, earn you the moderatorship title now. But maybe you didn't sign up for this PGN Brown Belt because you want the moderatorship. Maybe you signed up because, no, you do want that one video a month that is an exercise video towards you, and that also gives you access to others' exercise videos requests so that you're all within this network of receiving videos every month that help boost up your athletic ability. Or maybe you don't want the exercise stuff at all. You're just here to support the channel a little bit more than $1 a month, and you're like, oh no, I've got 10 a month, and I don't mind contributing, which is beyond generous to me because this is free content. It just helps fuel the passion and the fire, and I appreciate it for the shorts and stuff like that, the live streams, but it's not needed. Yeah. So if you ever no, I signed up. I'm a brown belt, but I don't need the moderatorship. I don't want the responsibility of putting people in timeouts or something like that, or I don't want the attention of the blue on my name. It's okay. I'm good. Then let me know. Oh, please don't. LOL. I'm all good. Okay, so Tabby, Roger, Pokemon Fan, you are all okay with the blue. Or if you abuse your power, then you can remove people. That's true. I don't mind people having a different opinion. It's not the most fun thing for somebody to come into the chat and just say, let's see, what have we had before? Metroid Prime 4, waste of time. Something stupid like that doesn't really serve any good, but I wouldn't ban someone for something like that. I would just not read it, or read it and say, "Oh, I disagree," or ask why. But that's not a ban. That's not even a timeout. Maybe it's a delete if it's just copy and pasted multiple times over, and then you could get to the point of, okay, timeout. All right, dude, calm down with the over abuse and the spammy nature of it. Not needed, but not a ban. If someone comes in with any derogatory comments or condescending remarks towards someone, that's a ban. You know, someone with a differing opinion or backwards ass level of thought process, if they're annoying, they could be annoying, but that doesn't warrant a ban or a timeout. Just a, hey, this whole level of reverse psychology of, it sure is sad that, Nintendo is second sales. It sure is sad that Mario didn't win an award. Dude, Mario's won plenty of awards. Nintendo is not sad that Nintendo's not doing anything. Nintendo is market leader and they have been for some time. That type of reverse psychology / fear mongering is not needed, but that's still not needed of a ban either. That's just hey, just your little dark Jedi tricks aren't going to work here. So take that somewhere else, Joycey J, someone said, oh no, yeah, Joycey J, no, yeah, I read that comment. Joycey has talked about possibly doing the exercise videos, because I remember there was a conversation of like, oh, maybe some kind of shoulder routines would be good, if I'm not mistaken, from like the sit at desk job or some kind of activity to get up, or yoga. Joycey was talking with me in the past about possible exercises and stuff like that. I remember, yeah. Mario Master saying, "Hey, Superman." I wouldn't remove them. If they start attacking people, then I will. Yeah, that's a different thing. Metro Prime 4 is for 5 years. Just kidding. I was joking. No negativity. November should have been extended through December. It was an oversight on my part. Paul, do you play Wario World on NSO? I probably will. I probably will check it out. I haven't played it yet, but I remember it pretty fondly back on GameCube. It was pretty fun. Yeah. I could go for a new Wario Land game, but Wario World on GCN was pretty cool. Y'all get to bed / timeout. It's been a pleasurable experience. We'll see. I mean, I know who you're talking about, Joycey. Yeah, that guy. He likes to use these reverse psychology tactics to evoke emotion from people. It's his kick. Not quite ban worthy, but just, hey, chill if you want to be here. Voicing opinion is one. Inaccuracy, false truths, lies, fear mongering. That's not going to be tolerated. That's going to get you to the point of being timed out. That's going to get you to the point of being banned. So don't abuse it. It's not going to. I'm too smart. This community is too smart to fall for that junk. Don't pull it off here. I wonder who Paul's talking about. Yep, I'll be watching those over the weekend. Be right back. Rolling on floor laughing. OMG, Josie. Reverse psychology. I call it bad trolling. That's true. Yeah. All right, everybody. I think we'll wrap this up soon. Plus, he has like 50 alternate accounts. Gosh, I remember one time on Nintendo Prime stream, he came back like fast. Just ban, boom, I'm back, ban, boom, 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 boom. Like, probably has a good few dozen alt accounts. Like, did not care. Just see you in a moment. Let's see. Why is sales the only thing Nintendo influencers talk about? I don't know. I mean, I guess what Nintendo influencers and YouTubers and social media folks and anybody talks about is what's relevant in the day. So if you're talking about, if you're covering superheroes and what's the big thing coming out year after year after year being Marvel superheroes, I guess a fair statement would be, why you only talk about Marvel? Well, because if Marvel's the only one that's making movies, that's who you talk about. But if DC comes into the equation and DC has movies too, well then you've got Marvel and DC to talk about. If Nintendo is so big on sales, big numbers, dominating Japan, dominating Circana charts, hitting 10 million on this game, 20 million on this game, fastest to do 15 million this, what's there to talk about? Well, if it's just that, then yeah, it's going to be kind of accurate to say Nintendo's sales discussion pops up quite frequently. But if Sony and Microsoft were to say, we just hit our 10 millionth Xbox, Halo Infinite just did 5 million, Forza did 3 million, Wolverine has 4 million pre-orders, PlayStation 5 has now hit 85 million. Like, people would be talking about sales all the time. So why do Nintendo people only talk about sales? I don't think it's that Nintendo influencers only talk about sales. It's just that sales is something that so frequently pops up in the video game verse that it's easy to talk about Nintendo sales, you know? Nintendo is awesome, and so am I. Thank you so much. The Nintendo is awesome, and I appreciate it too. I try to be awesome, but, you know, I can only try. But Nintendo is awesome. They definitely have a lot of great games in their staple and have done a lot of things to pioneer the industry over the years. So I appreciate it. And Pokemon does rock. You are right too. Pokemon has been around for, 30 plus years. It's doing nice. And yeah, it's brought a lot of fun into the industry. From anime to comics to movies, getting people to play together, trade, exchange, toys, t-shirts, talk about a cultural phenomenon, you know? Vinny donated to 400 to ban him. I remember that. Oh, it was so funny. And then he came back another stream like, haha, I got someone to waste their money and make them broke. Someone's not wasting their money and being broke if they have that much to give. They're probably doing all right. And for them, that's like their several dollars to have fun. You know? They're not sweating off that. I've noticed a drop. The price crowd gets very triggered by sales numbers. Yeah, Louis, that's a good point. Anytime the competition does too well and it's competing against something that you like that isn't winning, people are going to start hating that other thing. A jealousy forms. If you're a massive Star Trek fan, you love Star Trek, and Star Wars comes along and you're like, oh, Star Wars is pretty cool too. But then everyone starts to like Star Wars and no one's talking about your Star Trek anymore. And you're like, but I still like Star Trek more. But yeah, Star Wars is still kind of cool. And then people start saying Star Trek's not cool anymore. Actually, Star Trek is lame. I only like Star Wars. Then you're going to say, no, Star Wars is the lame one. And then you're going to say, no, actually, I hate Star Wars and Star Trek is the best. You went from liking both to hating one because your first love fell off, people fell off, people started not liking it, and it started making you not only not like the other, but hate the other because the other started to top your own instead of continuing to like both. But people cannot fathom the possibility of liking everything, or they do allow too much outside influence to influence how they perceive things. And this happens with everything. So for someone to say like, oh, Nintendo stinks, or Metroid stinks, or Pokemon stinks, or whatever, a lot of it's formed in jealousy. A lot of it's rooted in that, you know? Boy, that didn't take long. Yeah, Tabby, that's true. Pokemon fan, Roger, that's funny. Gosh, that's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. Yep. Mixing it up. Good sir, I have seen your love for Nintendo, but if you are like me, there's a game that was in the arcades that took many of your quarters back in the day when you were a kid. Dragon's Lair? Dragon's Lair was fun. Gosh, Dragon's Lair was so neat because that had such a cool visual style. It was an animated cartoon that you could kind of play over and control. It was pretty cool. I used to put a lot of money into arcades in Street Fighter, into the old X-Men arcade, Ninja Turtles arcade game, stuff like Terminator 2, the light gun arcade game. Yeah, there's plenty of those. Plenty of those. 43 viewers and 78 likes. 54 viewers, now 78 likes. We actually had a 64-64 split earlier, which is pretty dope. I will not put up with it. Some guy spent $1,000 to get the card he wanted. Still did not get it. Jean-Luc Picard will never not be cool. Plus, when you attack a mod after they warn you to stop. Haters of Star Wars and Star Trek need to watch Spaceballs so they can fall in love with that one. I'm hyped for the Game Awards. Yep. Competition is a good thing. Yep. Game Awards are going to be a blast. My brother just got in. Can't wait. Oh, cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I might see your brother at the show. X-Men, TMNT, Samurai Showdown at my Pizza Hut. Heck yeah. I also own a Switch 2. Nice, Kieran Douglas. I love Pac-Man. Yeah, Pac-Man is also dope. That got my money. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to end in 3 minutes. And then I've got a gaming history or two video to film for tomorrow. And then I'm going to slowly make my way out to the Game Awards, which starts at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, which is 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central. So that's in a little bit less than 4 hours. 10,000 Noodles asking the question too. When are the Game Awards? At 4:30 p.m. Pacific. Mixing it up. I used to mow lawns to get arcade money. Dragon's Lair, Spy Hunter, Gauntlet, Rampage, Pac-Man, Galaga. All got lots of my quarters, yeah. Oh. You're editing an interview, Tabby? That's cool. It's 1 a.m. in Sweden. Nice. Give us a shout out if you get any camera time. I'm going to probably wear my Mario suit. I mean, I have a couple of different Mario suits. I got my Levi's jeans one, and then I have my Oppo suits one. I wore the Oppo suits one last time to the Game Awards, right? Oh, I might wear it again. I mean, I have a couple of other suits. I have like a nice blue suit, a nice black suit, a nice thing that I could do kind of like a tan black or tan blue combo. I've done that before. But like for a game event, Mario suit is pretty appropriate, you know. Thanks for the midday stream. You're welcome. John Doe Juggalo. I mean, when Game Awards start, it'll be 1 a.m. Yeah, that's what I thought in Sweden. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Alrighty. We hit 2 hours. That was fun. Thank you to Louis M727 again for that nice $10 contribution, and Pokemon Fan 34 for upping your membership to the brown belt tier, and Roger Enyart for the awesome $12 dono. 2 of it in super chats, 10 in gifted subs. That means we got 20 new members today. That's pretty sweet. A banana suit for DK Bonanza. Man, if I had a Donkey Kong suit, I would wear that tonight. That would be fitting, especially with Bonanza being up for a Game of the Year. Yeah. Or a banana suit. That's another story. Pac-Land was one of my favorite arcade games back in the day. It ate tons of my arcade quarters. Yeah, Pac-Land. That's pretty old school, too. Nice talking to you. Have a wonderful time at TGA. Thank you so much. Thank you all being here. Hey, we finally got some blue in the charts, in the chat, you know? Yeah, and I think that's a pretty fun thing. We go up from here. We only go up, you know? Red tie for DK. Do I have a red tie? Oh, I should, shouldn't I? I've got a few bow ties. Purple tie. I don't think I have a red tie. A nice fat red tie with DK on it would be appropriate, though. We'll see. Alrighty. Hope y'all have a good one. Again, thank you for being here. If you haven't already checked out the shorts today, I appreciate your watching the shorts in advance, and if you already did watch them, then thank you for hitting that like button or commenting. Y'all have a good one. I'll be at the Game Awards. Look for me in the crowd. I'll be probably wearing my Mario suit. I'll be jumping up in joy to the ceiling, 6 foot high. I'll be jumping up if they drop the Zelda Ocarina of Time remake announcement. Woo! You're welcome. And thank you for being here. We'll be safe. We'll have fun. Thank you all. It's nice to have a cool morning stream that carried into the afternoon. Going over some sales. Going over some Game Awards hype. Adding some blue to here. I don't have a banana tie, but that would have been a fun one. Or a red tie. Or a red tie that has a banana on it or something. But yeah, even the Mario suit alone is pretty good, you know. Alrighty, thank you again for being here. Oh yeah, if you're interested in Supergirl, my Supergirl movie reaction video should be up now or very soon. Rohan Shavan, hey, how are you doing today, Paul? I'm doing well. I'm doing great, thanks. But I'm just about to end the stream. We hit the 2-hour mark. But thanks for being here, even if it's in the final minute. Hope you're doing well. Yes, I did check out the Supergirl trailer. I was just ending with that. And it should be up live now, my reaction. If not, I might have to make it public. But yeah. Super Brahe, before you go, what belt did you get to in karate? In Shotokan Karate, I'm a 5th degree black belt. Yeah. I currently teach. I still train, but my training is not as much for me anymore as it is becoming the best, being the best professor, being the best sensei that I can be to my students. Coming up with new, thoughtful, engaging ways to teach, try to better everyone themselves, not so much about me trying to be the best I can as a practitioner, but me trying to be the best instructor that I can to help folks become the best they can and empower them. because my competition isn't competition anymore. I'm not out there fighting and competing anymore in world tournaments and stuff. Now I'm trying to build up a new class, and not just in physical ability, but in mental um, strength too. Oh, last question. What are your thoughts on the new RAM and GPU price hike situation? It's rough. It's gonna probably more likely than not mean that consoles are gonna be more expensive than even we anticipated them being in 2026, and for that matter, the next generation consoles that follow. You got black belt at 10 and stopped. Hey, black belt is a fantastic thing to achieve. Congratulations on that. That's awesome. Alrighty, bye everybody. Thanks again. I'm gonna get ready and slowly head out to